All right, morning. Oh, let's get this day started. Well, yesterday, it was a short one, but I accidentally forgot to rename it when I uploaded it using the details of the previous video because I wanted to. So I used the previous video's details because it's a podcast, so I want it to all be like it's a series, so I want it to be similar and have basically the same description and all. And I don't really want to have to write that every time, so I just reuse the details of the previous one. And I guess I forgot to update it. So this morning I saw that it was had the same name twice. So I'll have to update that later if I remember. But today's should be a normal one, so that'll be good. I need to. Oh, I was thinking yesterday about, doing the videos and all, and I think I might just start kind of with some basic editing of like just adding. Uh, so yesterday I recorded some gameplay footage from Star Wars Battlefront 2, and uh, so I was thinking of I could just check that that was working correctly and then just upload that directly, but I'm not sure if I'd rather do that or maybe try editing it. I don't know because I didn't get voice because I play games in the room with my family, and so if I have a mic on, you're just gonna hear a little kid screaming and playing, and me talking to my wife the whole time. Like it's not. I don't talk about games while I play them, which I know is not really how you're supposed to do, like kind of YouTube stuff. So, but oh well. Cool. But I don't know what exactly I'm planning on doing next because I do want to get the videos of like my miniatures. That's I feel like that's really enjoyable for me, and that's something I would rather be doing. Is painting my miniatures. I want to make sure that I got those together. But yeah, just have to see, I guess. Oh, it's been a long week already, and it's only Wednesday. Oh, I don't know about anybody else, but just when I'm super busy at work, I get real tired and just kind of mentally drained a little bit. And I think it just kind of, I'd really rather not, but it's hard not to because you it takes a lot of work to, make an effort at work. And yeah, I I know I don't pause so much. I probably should start just, talking about a random subject again. Because that actually worked really well the other day when I did that. I feel like I'm a lot better at doing that than just talking normally or finding something I actually have going on to talk about. Because, yeah, when I try and think too hard about things, I just end up pausing a lot. Ugh. Taking a lot of breaks. But it's early in the morning, and, well, not early, I guess. Oh, go, go, go. I did listen to a little bit of a podcast yesterday, one of these, because I was checking to see the name of it, because I had already uploaded it and all, and we had, spent the evening, and then I was laying in bed uh, while my wife was in the shower, and I was going on YouTube, and then I saw that um, a podcast said, because I have a separate YouTube to the podcast YouTube, and I saw that it said that it had been uploaded, or there like was a recent upload because I'm subscribed to it, and then it had and then it said July the 7th, and I was like, hold on, today is the 8th. And so I clicked on it to make sure that I wasn't seeing it wrong. Sure enough, I forgot to rename it, but I listened to a couple minutes of it, and well, actually, I listened to a couple minutes of one from a week ago because I selected that and it started playing, but then I X'd out of it and was doing everything else, and I thought I'd listen to another one. I don't remember which one I listened to, but the audio was really crackly, and I don't know which side headphone it was using because I know that the audio hasn't been that crackly every time. So I need to figure out. I need to listen back to them. I think just make sure that I have them working correctly. Oh. But I think it's probably something I need to do just to check on. Anyway, back to what I was talking about earlier and yesterday. Uh, I am wanting to do a bit more video based stuff, and I think that'd be good because podcasts. There's so many of them. I mean, there's just as many YouTube videos and channels, but like it feels more entertaining to watch a video and uh, just having like a short 10, 15-minute video is more interesting than having something longer, I think, that is just talking. But I like listening to podcasts, but I know that that's not what your average person on YouTube is doing. I need to. I was thinking about maybe uploading it to like Spotify or Apple Podcasts, but I don't know how to. I saw how to do it on Spotify, and I do not like their system with the whole third-party manager company. I just want to click a button and send it. But for Apple, I'm guessing it's going to be a lot of the same. I don't know. I don't think I'll ever actually put it on Apple. I haven't checked what it requires, but I don't like Apple as a company. Like, everything, all their software is just designed to keep you from using third-party software and keep you from customizing it the way you want and keep you from having any real control. Like, oh, Apple and Nintendo is getting just as bad, if not worse, in that they are starting to say, like, oh, if you use third party hardware, like even a docking station, which should be a very basic universal thing that you should be allowed to use a USB-C port for whatever a USB-C port is used for. But that's a side point. But yeah, they're just awful in terms of customer service and letting you do what you want with something you paid hundreds of dollars for. That's all the time we have for now. So, alrighty, welcome back. Oh, well, looks like I'm gonna have to stop for gas because I am low. I really hope I don't run out before the gas station. I'd like to stop by on the gas station near my house, so I'll probably stop there. Oh, I started saving these as separate parts this week, and I'm really hoping I labeled them right because I just realized that so these are just time stamped because I record on my phone, and then they're time stamped with the start of the recording. And so if I uh, turn them off, or if I, so when I upload them, I rename them to kind of categorize them by date of recording rather than the timestamp. And I just thought, if I accidentally uh, named it, because there's four parts, if I accidentally named one part one when it was actually part two, and then named part one, part two because I got them mixed up, especially with like the immediately before and immediately after lunch ones, because they both start within the same hour. That could get mixed up, and then if that happens, it might be a very confusing thing for me to reference back something I already said that comes later in the podcast. So I probably need to be careful not to mess up that kind of ordering. But I feel like half the time I don't even go with a consistent topic anyway, so why does it matter? But yeah, I was trying to think on, I think it was Thursday, 7/3, I did that thing where I just talked about something random. I was thinking that might be more of an interesting take to do for the podcast, just something I can keep talking about for a while that's not going to be repetitive, really. Well, probably not. It could get repetitive, but it's very interesting to just kind of let myself go on and on about a subject on a tangent. And like something just popped into my head is just bees. And like I don't know about other people, but I like bees and I love honey. Like honey's really good and I like honey flavored things and so I like bees, but I also know bees are very important for, you know, crop growth and just ecological sustainability in general. it's good to have a lot of bees around, and they're very important, but they're also dying off due to pesticide and herbicide and just a lot of different human caused factors. And so, like, it's very, it's one of those weird things where it's actually, uh, like, not a very well known thing, but it is very important actually that we try and sustain bee populations as much as possible. And so that's something that I've wanted to do is raise bees as a like beekeeping is not something I know anything about, but just I like honey and it seems interesting and I know bees are good for the environment. So yeah, I thought it might be fun. You can just kind of I don't know how to get into it though. I need to figure that out, but probably won't worry about it until have somewhere where I want to grow other plants. Then you can have bees to attend to. But I also want chickens, and chickens eat bees sometimes, and so kind of want to make sure that you don't let all your bees get eaten by your chickens. But also, chickens tend to eat other bugs that are not good for plants. So you want them near your plants, but you don't want them near your bees. And so that's a whole complicated mess. But oh, it's also just like you know, uh, I know a lot of people are scared of bees or don't like bees, don't want to be around them, and don't want to be around them. But I am not really afraid of them anymore. Because if you don't bother them, they won't sting you. They'll land on you still if you wear bright colors, especially, but they won't sting you unless they perceive you to be a threat. And so I've only been stung by a bee once, I think, and that was when I was younger. I was playing on an inflatable water slide in our backyard. Uh, it was sometime in the summer, I think, but we were all playing on the water slide, and then I went to go down it, and when I sat down, I felt a pain in my rear, and then uh, didn't know what happened, so it hurt real bad, but then I went inside to check, and I didn't see anything, but then I dropped and looked, and yep, bee was sitting right there in my pants. It stung me right on the rear. And I think that's the only time I've ever been stung. But I might have been stung another time, but I'm not sure about that. I can't exactly remember. So, no. But then, that those, I was thinking I might have been stung on the hand, but I think that was a scorpion, because I know I got stung by a scorpion on the hand. Because where I grew up, it's kind of the edge of the desert, and so we had like those little tannish brown desert scorpions, and they like to, hide in some old wood and stuff, but they also got into our house. And I went to, what was I picking up? I picked up a mattress. I think we were moving an old mattress, and I picked it up. And I stuck my thumb right on top of the scorpion that was sitting on the mattress, and like I felt something weird, and then I felt three stings right on like the knuckle of my thumb, pretty much, and jumped back. But yeah, then I think I don't remember if it was my mom or my dad, but one of them said they'd heard that to lessen the sting you could put slightly wet salt on it, and that would draw out the poison or whatever that was, or the venom, I guess. If it's a sting, is it poison? I guess stings are venomous. Anyway, yeah, draw out the venom, and that would kind of relieve the stinging pain. But when I drew out the when we put the salt on there, I held it on there, and it just made the pain 10 times worse. And it did not stop hurting. Like, it did not draw anything out. It just rubbed salt in the wound, quite literally, and just made everything hurt more. So, I would not recommend doing that to anybody who's uh, trying to think of ways to draw out of a wound. Oh, well, I gotta get gas now, so I might pause for a minute here. Oh, I'll tell you what, gas is sure getting expensive now. I know that's kind of a something everyone says all the time, but oh, it's not actually too bad right now. It's been much, much worse, much more recently. But yeah, it's about 2.50 a gallon, and so that ain't too bad. Just hurts filling up this truck because it's 20 gallons, so $50 just to fill up on gas. Oh, well, but, honestly, that's one reason I'm kind of hoping that if this podcast does well, I could get a little bit of ad revenue from it because that would certainly help lessen the cost of gas. And although the gas is to get me to and from work, I kind of feel like if I can use this podcast, the gas kind of counts as a part of the podcast. So maybe it's a tax write-off. Mostly kidding, but not entirely, because yeah. Oh, I always like I'm an accountant, but I didn't go through all the tax accounting. I only took one tax class, and it made me never want to do taxes again. So I usually just do the standard deduction. But I'm thinking I might, if I ever do start getting revenue, I'll have to do an itemized or do a business return of some sort. So that could get complicated, but that's all the time I have for now. So we'll continue this later. Okay, and we're back. I don't know why I start every segment the same way, just saying that. Uh, but yeah, I'm recording this like all day today in my right ear piece to try and make sure that that one isn't having issues. So I was thinking I'll record the whole time with this earpiece in, and then I can listen back to it here and there and just make sure there's no like uh, weird things going on with this earpiece, and then do the same with the left side. And then if it works, I'll be able to figure out which one's having issues and just not use that one. But I really do need to figure out a better microphone situation. I know there's microphones you can get to plug into your phone that are kind of like lapel mics, something more like that. But I don't know. I guess I could put it on the seatbelt. That'd probably work. But it would probably catch a lot more background noise. I need to figure out what the best microphone is for recording while in a car. Because I honestly do kind of like that aspect of the podcast, even though it makes it kind of noisy. Oh, got the hiccups. But yeah, even though it makes it kind of noisy, I like that because it feels a little more grounded and unique rather than just, me sitting down at a table like every other person who talks into a phone or a computer. But I don't even know if anybody is going to end up listening to these much. I know I've had 115 unique views as of yesterday on 25 podcasts. So that's averaging four each. That ain't too bad, but I think with the just pure volume I put out with them, like 40, uh, 48 minutes a day, it is a lot. Even if I was a good podcaster, I don't think I'd have many people that listen. But you know, might just be worth getting started because you never know. You never know what'll happen. Oh, I'm that guy has plastic over his back windshield. Probably got knocked out with the hail. There's been a lot of hail damage this year around my area. Hail is weird in the way it forms, as well as like I don't know exactly how hail forms because I know how snow forms because it's water droplets that are like essentially already ready to freeze, and then they need to kind of get started on something, which I think that they can just freeze themselves, but I also know that a lot of times it gets started with like a tiny bit of dust in the air, and that'll kind of create a snowflake around it. But yeah, for snow, it starts with either a tiny ice crystal formed from the humidity in the air or a mote of dust or something. But it's a very cold start. And then as the ice crystal forms, the humidity in the air up where it is kind of condenses solid ice straight from gas onto the crystal around it. And so it like grows because it is a crystal. Ice is a mineral, just like salt and iron. But I mean, iron is not a crystal. Salt is a crystal. But yeah, I like crystals. Crystals are cool. I kind of wish that, crystals didn't get a weird kind of following from people who give them spiritual value because that made, I feel like that made crystals like, it made a lot more knockoff, like artificial crystals, and also drove up the price of crystals a little bit. But I've always liked crystals and liked collecting them just because I think they look cool, especially quartz. I know quartz is like not that interesting because it's super common and pretty cheap and not a lot to it, but it's like I really like it because I feel like it's very pretty and accessible, and then also, it can, depending on what's in the quartz, it kind of gives it different impurities, which can make it look different. Because I have a few different kinds of quartz at home. Like I have a, smoky quartz, which is like black and dark gray swirls throughout a kind of clearish crystal, but it's got like that kind of black and dark impurities in it. And then I have honey quartz, which is like a nice honey yellow gold kind of color. And that's kind of through the whole thing, and it's translucent. And then I think we have some rose quartz, which is, white, but has like pinkish tinges throughout it. It's just really pretty. But, I don't know, is gypsum a type of quartz? I don't think it is, but because I know there's a natural formation in New Mexico called white sands, and it's like this area of desert that is white sand dunes created from heavy gypsum deposits in the area that on the mountains that eroded down into a valley and formed large areas of sand. I think it was like glacier deposits because it was on the mountains and then the glaciers kind of dragged it down into the valley. But it looks really cool and it's very fun to play in and around. And it's like super nice fine sand. It feels really soft because, sometimes you have sand that's like really coarse and rough and hot because it's got like little black bits in it, but it's bright white sand. So as soon as you get underneath the surface layer, the sun hasn't really affected it heat wise. So you can just kind of play in it without worrying about sun heating it because, at a, not so much at a beach because of the water, but I've been to the Great Colorado Sand Dunes, and those have a lot of little black granules of kind of like a black sand in them, and that stuff gets hot. Like we were walking across it, and if it got in your like at White Sands, we go barefoot because it's like nice, soft, not really hot because of the reflective nature of the sand. But yeah, we went to the Colorado sand dunes, and you had to wear shoes because if you didn't, it would burn your feet really bad. But yeah, they have some cool stuff there, and they like compress it into like sand castles that are hardened gypsum like rocks essentially, and so they're a little more hard, but they still can crumble, and they're a little fragile for rocks. But they are like nice and sturdy enough you can keep them that way. As long as you don't drop them, they should be fine. And I think I've dropped one before, and it was mostly fine. But I really like the. That's one of my favorite national parks to go to. Uh, but yeah, it's really nice, and uh, yeah, I was talking about quartz and crystals in general, but I also really like amethyst. But amethyst gets expensive for big pieces. I really want to like collect some bigger pieces of crystal of just different kinds, but it's something that you kind of have to go somewhere to do if you want to do it yourself. Like you can't just go out and to a national park or something, find a place with like crystals and just take some. Like I don't want to. Even if we could do that, I wouldn't want to do that because you don't want to disturb. stuff like that. But yeah, there's a lot of areas that have crystals, but they're all, privately owned, and it costs more to go and dig and search for crystals yourself than it costs to just buy them off a market somewhere. Which I know also, for some reason, like crystals, because it's kind of hard to, like any kind of mineral, it's hard to verify um, legitimacy as to import export laws and all. So, like, I know it's a big problem with fossils. If you're buying a fossil, you have to be very careful because it might not be like actually, oh, good. Uh, like it might be a real fossil, but it might have been smuggled illegally out of whatever country it's from and into your country. So you can't really buy fossils secondhand. You have to buy them from a very reputable source. But crystals, I think, suffer a little bit of the same problems as far as just like once it's in the country, it's kind of hard to say, oh, this is an illegal fossil or an illegal crystal because it could have come from there, could have come from anywhere, and it's just really hard to tell. But that's all the time for this segment, so we'll continue this later. Alrighty. Well, welcome back to the fourth and final portion of today's episode. Oh, that's hot. It is 90 something degrees here today, and my truck has been sitting in the sun for 5 hours, and it is, oh, I'm glad I have a steering wheel cover, or I could not steer right now. That's one thing about Texas summers, you need oven mitts if you're going to be driving sometimes. Hey, there's that stork again. It might be a heron, actually, come to think of it. I need to check. Uh, we bought a little like pamphlet from the grocery store from HEB that has like native Texas wildlife information on it. Pretty cool. It has a lot of the native water birds and most common ones, so I can see that. I know all that information's available if you just Google it, but something weird about having all of the information in the world at your fingertips is that you get completely overwhelmed and can't actually find the information you're looking for. Like, that's one of those weird things that has happened these days is that because we have so much information all the time, it is impossible to just search through real quick and find what you're looking for. You have to like go on a deep dive in order to get more than a basic answer. I was just looking up at work trying to find the fire code requirements for business, uh, whatchamacallums, smoke detectors, that's what you call them. Because we want to make sure that in the new building we have enough and are putting them in the right places. Because I didn't know that you were apparently not supposed to put one within 10 feet of the kitchen. But that's apparently a recommendation so that you don't have a false alarm with bad cooking. Or just fiery cooking, I guess. But yeah. Uh, so yeah, it's recommended to put them 10 feet away from the kitchen. And then there were just like the AI overview also that Google has introduced, just half the time is just wrong, or at least providing you with information that is not exactly what you were looking for. Because we looked for we looked for the the city of Lubbock requirements for smoke detectors for business. And then the AI overview gave us general guidelines by combining just like the national standard with OSHA regulations and kind of just spitting out what was genuinely good advice to follow on uh, fire extinguisher, or not fire extinguishers, smoke detectors. Genuinely good advice, but it did not uh, provide like a good factual answer because it was just saying, here are the suggestions, here's kind of general recommendations, but we were looking for exact regulation in our city, and so AI just did not provide that. Oh boy, that's not good. It looks like there's some kind of wreck up ahead, and it looks pretty bad. Maybe. It's very hard to tell because there's cars all over. Well, yeah, that's not good. I don't need to be rubbernecking it either. Oh, sorry, I'm just paying very close attention to traffic because people are kind of weaving in and out trying to avoid the closed lanes. Yeah, but yeah, back to the fire or smoke detectors. I keep trying to say fire extinguishers, but yeah, it was weird because we couldn't find the regulations, and they only had one in there, and it's a very big office for a small business. That is, you need way more than just one. Uh, just like oh, and sure I didn't hit somebody there who was just pulling out in the middle of the road from a turn for some reason. It's all kinds of backed up traffic here. Bad. Oh. But anyway, that guy just pulled out in front of me again. And they're really just not wanting to. Yeah. Okay. We're kind of back on the road a little bit. Oh, every time there's a traffic jam, it just gets awful. But I don't know why people aren't using this lane. Doesn't look too bad. Looks like it was a multi-car accident. I just stopped at a light and right next to, I'm just off the side of the highway where the accident occurred. Yeah, there's like 7 different cars stopped. It looks like it was already kind of traffic jamming, and then they all slammed rear end to rear end, or front to rear, whatever. Anyways, yeah, we only have one smoke detector in that whole thing, and there's like a good, I would think you need at least 20 to cover that space because you have, if every single door in that office is closed, then you have 18 distinct spaces with no access to each other. And then there's another, no, not, yeah, 18 spaces. And no, 19 spaces. And then the one main space is big and has a kind of doorway separating it, but the door doesn't close. So I think that needs two, so that puts it at 20. But that's not putting one in any of those closets, which one of my coworkers thought that she was looking at the AI overview and it says every storage area needs one, and we have like 4 little storage closets. I don't think they need them, but she thinks they do. So, but yeah, that's a whole different thing. But oh, yeah. And then I was testing more lines today, and I hooked up the tester to a internet line, and it just died like out of nowhere. That's just annoying because like we spent $50 on that thing to make sure that it's working, or we had a good one. It just immediately died. So, uh, oh, sorry, I'm just breaking up here and there with the conversation. I just keep going from subject to subject, but I'm kind of tired. So it's hard to keep a continuous flow of conversation going when it's just yourself and you are kind of tired. Plus, it's hot. Like I mentioned that earlier, but it is very hot. Oh, but yeah, I don't know. I don't even know where every single smoke detector in my house is because I know we have one in the kitchen. I think the kitchen dining room has one, like combined with those two, which they're separated by like not a doorway, like the ceiling is the same all across, so that's probably good that those two just have one because it's not a big area. And then the living room has one, and then all of the bedrooms have one, and there's one in the hallway. So I think there's one in every space there, but probably need to check that to just remind myself since I was thinking about it today anyway. Because there's a lot of the like things like that you just don't always remember to do, but you really need to keep up with, like testing fire alarms and making sure your fire extinguisher is up to date and recharged and just all that kind of stuff. I know on the car, I forget to check the air filters because you do it so infrequently that I forget to do it. But and then, like changing the oil, they give you those little stickers to remember, but it depends on like what you're driving, how long you need to go between like full on oil changes. And I think that I mean, my truck, I refill the oil because it leaks a little bit and just kind of uses a bit up, so I have to refill it every now and then. I need to check it again soon because it's been about a month since I last checked. But there's a lot of things like that that are just, part of being an adult, but it's hard to remember to do them sometimes. So you end up putting it off way too long and then check it. You're like, ooh, I should have done that earlier. But yeah, I need to get oil changes on both cars and then change the air filters, which that one I can do myself because that's a real easy one to do. Uh, Now the oil filter, like I could, and I feel pretty confident in my ability to do that. It would just be a lot of work and a lot of mess, and then I would have to go take the oil, the old oil. And I don't even have a good oil pan, so I would have to do that. I think I'd rather just let somebody else do it. Oh, let somebody else change the oil and let somebody else rotate the tires because I do need to rotate the tires as well. I always forget about rotating tires, but it is important to do. But I need to take my tires in for an air check and rotation probably on both vehicles. But I don't know about everybody, but we have two vehicles for a family of three. Just because, I mean, we both had our own vehicles before we got married, so we kept having two. But I know that a lot of people only have one, and I definitely get that because two is a lot to keep up with, and really what just happens is mine is not the one we take the baby in, and mine does not go out of town, so mine's kind of the one we just don't care as much about. Like I still try and keep up with it and keep my truck in good shape, but it doesn't matter too much if it has a problem that you can't fix right away and it's already paid off and all. So anyway, that's all the time I have for now. So be seeing you.